This video will go through the update of Deep2VP 4.0. I tried to keep my video short and compact as much as possible. So if this is your first time to get your hands on Deep2VP and how the nodes work in detail, I would recommend checking out the 3.8 video here. In this video, I will roughly go through the updates on each node, then we'll walk through some new systems and nodes. If you are interested in the workflow of this toolset and want to develop or modify the settings, please check out another video that I will post later. Deep2VP. The node was renamed from Deep2V position to Deep2VP, shortening the name and more representing the core of the toolset. Move deep normal into this node from DVPColorCorrect. Add a generate deep normal, so it can get better edges on the relight process, but still keeping the generate 2D normal to give users more options. DV portal. No any changes on this node. Only renamed from DV port to DV portal, to make it easier to understand the purpose of this node. DVP mat. Node type options renamed to final mat and open or CC mat. Remove options knob and can find the same result under open or CC mat. Supported to a new node, DVPColorCorrect. So users can use the mat from this node to color correct in Deep without dealing with edges, merge, etc. DV pattern. It works the same as DVP mat now, and is able to operate with DVP mat. So they can create many different mat shapes for color correction. DV projection. No changes on this node for users. Only some naming on the setup of this node had been changed. It won't affect users. DVPColorCorrect. A new node in 4.0. It does the same as DVPColorCorrect. The only difference is support for the mat created from this toolset, DVP mat and DV pattern. And channels only RGB, deep position and deep normal can be selected. I will show you the possibilities to color correct those tech channels. DVPColorCorrect works with multiple nodes stacked together. DVPrelightPT. As I mentioned before, the deep normal setup had been moved to Deep2VP. So this node has no longer deep normal settings, but added shader input to define the follow shader for lighting. DVP scene. Added output options. Now, it can choose output relighted beauty, raw light, shader pass, and extra pass from input shaders. DVPrelightPT. Remove point light in this node, split it a point light to another node called DVPrelightPT. To make this node lighter if the user doesn't need point light in their setup. Added DVP shader system and fixed point cloud preview with effects applied. DVPrelightPT. This is a point light split out from the previous DVPrelightPT. It supports the DVP shader system, but doesn't work with specular at this moment. DVP Fresnel. Removed link camera buttons, because 4.0 system store the camera in metadata from Deep2VP node. Fix the unpromote mistake from previous versions, so the Fresnel pass gets brighter and noticeable even by the default value. DVP shader and DVP tune shader. 4.0 added shader system. If relight without a shader, it still can give the user a basic lighting result. DVP shader provides specular shading. DVP tune shader provides a cell shading look. DVP to image. No changes on user end. Removed all metadata created from Deep2VP internally, to keep downstream clean. The tool comes along with a readme.txt file this time. I usually use one of my tools called Nukepedia to install all the Gizmo. It will generate all the Gizmo or NK files into Nuke menu. This tool is for anyone who doesn't know Nuke's coding well or lazy to update the menu file for any new tools. For those who like to create menus by his own code, this readme.txt already included the code for the menu. I assume you know how to add the path on init.py, so if you would like to use the Gizmo version of this toolset, Copy the Gizmo code section into your menu.py, and that's it. For those who like to use the group version of this toolset, copy the last section into your menu.py and change the path of your folder location. Let me show you here. I copy the code, paste it on a new file and save it as menu.py. Then it will appear on your Nuke's menu. DVP mat does the same as before. Final mat will output a trim deep image. OpenMat can stack with multiple mats with different operations. OpenMat has an option to show color. It won't affect anything, just for preview purposes. The mat in here will be the same as how you create AP mat in 2D. It's because mat in Deep can show the samples behind the mat, but 2DP mat doesn't. If you just need the mat for DVP color correction, leave the node type as open or CC mat. Then put DVP color correct after. You can put multiple DVP color correct nodes, the color grade operation still applied. But if you put a Nuke's Deep Color Correct node in between the mat and DVP Color Correct, the tool will not recognize the one from Nuke. The mat can be DVP mat or DV pattern, or even mix with both. After DVP Color Correct, when you put any mat nodes, the mat will be reset. So you can create multiple mats with different color corrections. If a DVP Color Correct node connects to the tree without any DVP's mat, it does the same as a regular Deep Color Correct node. Just with the limited channels can be selected. On the Color Range menu, you can select the test with mat or without mat for the Color Range preview. .0 added a shader system, but the foundation setup is still the same as the previous version. Here are my deep renders. Let's pull out a relight setup here. DVPRelight still goes in between the DVP set light and DVP scene. So this relight setup and result is the same as what we have in the previous version. If you look carefully, there is a shader input on DVP set light. And as I mentioned, the normal setup moved to Deep2VP, so DVP set light has no more setup in it. Let's try with DVP shader. When you look at the DVP shader node, it can give you a preview of the shader settings. You can drag the light around to preview the result, and it doesn't affect your image. This shader provides you with extra specular settings. Glossiness to control how tight or bored of your specular. Specular to control brightness of the hotspot. Specular color interacts with the color of the lights. DVP scene added output option. Composite will output the beauty of all this lighting result. Raw light passed as the name. And the result is already pre-multed in Deep. It multiplies with the diffuse color, which is the input color in here. Shader pass, which is the pass from shader attribute. It is an additive pass. Extra pass is something out of this category. I will show you what it is when we move to tune shader. It's nothing on this shader. Just let you know, point light had been split from the DVPRelight node, and it was named DVPrelightPT. It doesn't interact with specular at the moment. Move on to Tune Shader. Tune Shades should use a diffuse color from render. Some render engines are named base color, albedo, etc. The idea of this pass is texture only. Let me disable all these deep recolor, so I can get my diffuse color. When you look at the node itself, you can preview the shader settings. Drag around the point can preview the interaction of the light. Specular setting is the same as DVP shader. Glossiness controls how tight of the spec. Specular controls the brightness here too, but clamped. Tone shading controls how many layers break down from the light. Tone ratio controls shading area. Contour size controls the outline. Tone sharpness controls the definition of the shading. Let's check out the output. If you have more than one light, you can choose style to get different color combinations of the light. It's just like the blending mode in Photoshop. Some style can give you a nice extreme color look. When you check out DVP Scene, you are able to choose which passes on the output. Extra pass on Tune Shader is Contour Pass. Since my contour color is set to black color, you can find that in alpha. DVPrelightPT is mainly using a deep normal pass. If you create a matte and color correct the deep normal channel, you can get some interesting tune shading results.